Let's change the world.
Okay, we've started. I've got my, I'm so honored to have David Hulse here from SomaEnergetics. This man is honestly a very inspirational human being, and I'm just so happy to finally have him on after all these months of wanting to speak to him and wanting to know more about his story and to share all of this amazing innovations and discoveries about sound healing with David. So David's going to talk about all of this. We've been talking about tuning forks for ages, for 2 months on my channel and the other associated channels. So can I ding? Can I ding? I've already been,
Sure.
I don't want to make it too loud. So I've got it on a pendulum.
Good.
I'll just let it, I let it tell me what it needs to do. So David, please tell our audience all about you and your journey. I've been reading your book, A Fork in the Road, and I honestly, it's an amazing read. There's so much in it. It's not just about your story, but about very profound information about solfeggio tones and DNA and how sound healing and frequency affects us all. And on the back it says, this book is also a call for light workers to gather in this crucial time of change and transformation on the planet. And that's exactly what I've been talking to my audience about, is this is it. This is the time. And it all comes down to frequency. And that's why I wanted to talk to you, because you're the expert on all of this. So can you tell us more about you and how this all started?
Yeah, I want to, first of all, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this time with you and your guests also. We welcome them. Wow, what a story. I'll just say this. As a young man, I was raised in a part of America and into a family that was extremely religious. And so I was kind of raised in that very religious literalism doctrine of things. But I always had an inquisitive heart. I just wanted to know for myself. So I've always researched about everything that anybody ever told me before I would give my life to it. So the thing that I wanted to share with you is, at a very young age, I'm going to say around 10, 11 years old, I was drug around to all these healers, healing revivals, we called them.
Yeah.
Well, Roberts and all that. And I started noticing some healed and some didn't. And even though they were praying to this same entity, it seemed like the entity would heal one and not another. And I thought, well, that doesn't make sense to me. If this entity loves us all, what is happening? So that planted a seed in my mind for a long time, for decades. And even I started a ministry. But my ministry was built upon my questioning that was going on in my mind. I started sharing with people. And I found out they were having the same questions I was, like, what is this thing? What is really God? What is these texts and all this kind of thing? So much going forward, I became very involved in what we call metaphysics or new thought or whatever. And it wasn't so much about just physical healing, but it was about manifesting. And again, I saw the pattern. Some manifested, some didn't. So what's going on here? So that brings me up to the beginning of SomaEnergetics 20 years ago, when I started getting what I call energetic downloads that started coming to me. And I started having these thoughts I would not have ever had. You know what I mean? Sometimes you think, where did that thought come from?
Yeah.
And I started realizing that I'm somehow connected to another dimension of data, of photon light information that was trying to break in to my third dimensional brain. Now we call that epiphanies, right?
That's right.
Epiphany is the penetration of universal thought into human thought. And of course, when that happens, it releases a charge of energy that the Essene says looks like angel's wings. Yeah. In other words, the light goes out like an angel wing, and you start getting messages.
Yeah.
And that's what angels really are at
They
some
are.
level. They are
Messengers.
divine messages given to the human brain. So anyway, moving forward, I'm trying to go through a very long story short. Uh, the answer came to me that human beings only manifest and heal at the level of consciousness that they're using universal energy field.
So
Some would
that's
call
very
that God.
important. Universal energy field. So that's very
hmm
important.
That's another name for what would religion maybe call God
God,
or
source.
source.
Hmm.
Yes, same thing. It's an infinite energy field. And I thought human beings using a more evolutionary. I'm a creationist, by the way. I believe in creation and I believe in evolution together. So I
Right.
created this word, creation. So I was thinking on an evolutionary, we've only evolved to our, what I believe, the end of our adolescency.
Hmm.
What I mean by that is 12,000 years of dominion over the earth, men over women,
Hmm.
and all of that is trying to come to a close as we evolve into co-creative adultship.
Beautiful.
And we enter the process of creating a new earth, a new world.
That's right.
So all of that just resonated with me. And I've often wondered if it's not a remembrance of an experience of being in Atlantis or some of these other civilizations that didn't quite meet the level of consciousness with their technology.
Mm.
And are we almost the reincarnation of that that's facing that again? And the question is, which road will we take? Destruction or to evolve ourselves to a higher dimension of what it means to be human on the earth?
Wow.
So uh, I thought human beings at that level are only using energy that's survival of the
That's right.
species,
Yeah.
right? That's the
Hmm.
old thing, is to reproduce ourselves and whatever. But I do believe that something has happened in the sense of an intervention of something called consciousness.
Hmm.
In other words, evolutionary that took all those millions and billions of years now can be moved by consciousness, which collapse time and space. And that's why you, and I'm sure the listeners that are with us today are those that have moved a little further on the path of consciousness than some of their friends and family and
Hmm.
whatever,
It's
because
all I
of,
talk about.
I'm so glad we're
That's
right
all
on.
I talk.
We're just right on,
All I
aren't we?
talk about.
Yeah. So, and I call a certain amount of souls who have incarnated in this lifetime, those who have made a contract
Yeah.
to be here to make this transition easy as the old dies and the new is birthed. And you know, JC, I believe that's the thing that is a challenge to all of us right now, is we're
Mhm.
experiencing simultaneously a birth and a death at the
We
same
are.
time.
I've been going
Yeah.
through some grieving recently because of that, because
Yeah.
I leveled up quite a bit in the last 2 weeks in terms of my frequency. And
Mhm.
I was grieving the 3D world. I was grieving this, and with it came this ability to, I became more altruistic, I was sort of like
Mhm.
observing this, like nothing matters, and I wanted to give everything away. I wanted to, like,
I
but
hear you.
there was a grieving, and until I could
Mhm.
assimilate that 5D version of me in this 3D
Mhm.
body, until I could embody it properly, it took me a while to understand that. But that's me meeting that frequency. And honestly,
Sure, sure.
these tuning forks are, they do work. They do work
Mhm.
very, very well. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love the way you're articulating this. I'll let you continue.
Okay. So anyway, I thought I started studying a little Tesla and a little bit of the forefathers and also daughters, I want to say, because
Mm.
people like Alice Bailey and them influenced me, but Einstein and all that, and everything just started coming together. This whole spirituality, science, this physics idea all started coming together to me, and I realized. By an experience I had listening to a Deepak Chopra tape back in the 80s. I didn't even know this
Mm.
man, but was listening to this boring tape. I think it was a cassette tape. That's how old it was. And he said, physics has found out that what we thought was empty space in the human cell is a subtle teeming electromagnetic field of all possibility. And I found God within me. God is a field of all possibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I realized that according to a lot of teachings of tests and whatever, actually we live in energy. Energy, we're like a fish in water. Okay.
Yeah.
But imagine a little fish doesn't know it's in water and it's swimming around looking for water. And a little enlightened fish comes along and says, but you're in the water. It's everywhere. So I thought, do we humans have access to the infinite field of all energy? And how do we get it? How do we connect to it? And how do we distribute it intelligently in the third energy anatomy? And the downloaded start at that point.
I love it.
And,
just the way you've articulated this, and you've you've really, these are concepts that people are still, even though these are universal concepts, these are concepts that people are only just learning. And that's why I love that your book, because of this, and the way you explain it is just perfect. And yes, God lives within us. I remember reading that a long time ago with Deepak Chopra, and that was the start of my understanding of quantum physics, because that also explores all of that as well, this science of possibilities. But it is God, and it's God consciousness, and it's us co-creating with God. Yeah, absolutely. So there was something you were saying, that all is energy, right? So all is energy.
Everything is energy. Everything has energy. Everything is energy.
Everything is.
That's the shift right there. Because we think that the body has an aura. We teach the aura has and becomes the body. And I think you have a little thing to show.
I love that. Yeah, I'm going to show. So we're going to have like no audio on this, but I think the graphics are perfect. So we're just going to flip to the side here while I do this.
Okay.
I'm going to press play. Hang on a second. That should press play now. Hang on. There we go. Play. So you won't be able to hear this. I'll just put that. But you were talking. This is what I love. The best. This is probably the best thing I read that you said, is that the aura creates the body, and this is explaining to us about this. This is our aura, our etheric, and this is saying. So this is just going into and explaining all of these.
Right. So the furthest out, the etheric holds the perfect blueprint of our creation. So we're already created whole.
Yeah.
We're not broken and need to be fixed. We need to remove the blocks and remember who we are, and we are changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. We shall not all sleep. Thank goodness.
So it's the outside. It's like we are perfect, and yet, oh wow, this just explains so much, even on our actual reality of being 3D, and yet we are greater than this. So it's our aura creating our body. So what does this mean to us in terms of healing? If our aura creates our body, and when we see, and there's a lot of us who do see auras in our mind's eye or physically, there's a lot of the people listening here are healers. These are a lot of the audience members, and a lot of them already have a modality that they're working with. And that's why I wanted to introduce them to these tools that you've created. What does it mean when our aura creates our physical body? How does that work, and how does that manifest as an illness? How does it manifest as a healthy body? Can you explain that?
Sure. So if we go out to the subtle body that spins off the crown, is the furthest, highest frequency. I call it the I am frequency, or something like that. But it holds the blueprint of my creation, which is whole and perfect. Now, imagine that trying to get down into the mundane of us, into the mental, the emotional, astral, and the physical. Okay. So it has to do that by using different frequencies. So as the frequency becomes more slower and dense, it sometimes misinterprets the perfection as less than.
Wow.
And the reason it does that is because of the unbalanced emotions and issues in our life stream, whether it's past lives, ancestral, or present life choices. All of that is energetically printed in the energy body. So if it's something that is not a match to that etheric, it's going to misinterpret it and step it down to something inferior.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. If you take all those bodies, etheric, causal, astral, mental, and emotional, that coalesce into the closest energy body to our physical body, which is the etheric blueprint.
Right. Okay.
Now, when cells die and replicate, the new cell looks at the blueprint and creates itself because of the blueprint. So if the blueprint is inferior than creation, then we end up with inferior bodies that is subject to disease, illnesses, and sicknesses.
It's all in
So
balance.
SomaEnergetics is a teaching how to work in that etheric pattern and change it. And you know what is the biggest challenge for this kind of work?
What is it?
Preventive.
Yes.
Preventive.
Because
People have to wait till they get the diagnosis
Yeah.
before they get serious.
they
And
won't
you
get,
don't.
you won't, yeah. They need that rub. They need that irritation before they can change. I know for myself, it's
Yeah.
like it has to get really bad for me to go, I think I better do something about that. That's
Exactly.
amazing. That's amazing. But I remember hearing you say that that the tuning forks can prevent a disease 9 months before it happens. Is that correct? Or it can.
Correct.
So can you explain that? Because that blew my mind. That blew my mind.
Well, yeah, this is a research that has gone on and that I had learned some years ago, actually, from several sources, that they're showing that what is in the etheric blueprint 6 to 9 months will show up in the cellular replication of the body.
Wow.
So instead of getting the body, which is matter to matter, you can't change matter to matter, but you can change the energy of matter to a different form. So that's why I think energy work is so important right now,
Yeah.
because we need to deal with the cause of things, the why. Why is the world like it is? What is all this division going on in the world? Where's that coming from? And it's coming from our etheric planetary blueprint. So as we change ours and help others to change theirs, somehow we'll reach critical mass, and we're going to have the greatest leap of conscious evolution that we have ever known on this planet. It's exciting, actually,
so
to live in this
exciting, and
time.
this is solidifying everything I've been talking about with such amazing detail that I never knew. I just felt it, but I didn't know how to explain it. And you're giving a language to that, and that's amazing. And I just love that. And also about like how frequency match frequency? Don't things resonate with each other? You know, we often talk about if this resonates with you, then you're a match to that thing, and it might even be information. Is this how we're affecting each other on a global scale? Is that what you're saying in terms of that, in terms of changing?
You know, it's definitely universal law, the law of resonance and matching.
Yeah.
The thing that's cool about that, though, is let's say I had a C and matched it to a C, that's a match, but I could also match it to an E and a G, because that makes the C chord. That
Right.
means they're in total harmonies. So there's still space for our uniqueness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That we all don't have to be the same, but we have to have complementary frequencies. And the tuning forks are a wonderful way of drawing these unique matches into our life so we can co-create together what is trying to break through for us. I wanted to tell you that actually when this started with me, kind of a question formed in my mind in meditation, and it said, do you want to try to work with what's breaking through, or do you want to try to fix what's breaking down? And JC, I didn't know what that meant mentally, but like the intelligence of my cells said, I'm going to work with what's breaking through. And I thought, what's breaking through? And I came up with, it is fifth dimensional energy breaking through third dimensional time space to change the vibration. of course, my background is theology.
Yes.
So I was thinking about where it's recorded that the teacher, Yeshua, Jesus,
Sure.
said, I go to prepare a place for you, that where
Yes.
I am, you may be also. And Spirit said to me, fifth dimension. That's where the
Fifth
Christ
dimension and
presence.
above. I
And
believe
yeah,
above. Yeah.
yeah, a good point. Because let me tell you, if you think about time, space, 1, 2, 3, 4, time and space,
Yeah.
solfeggio is a curve,
Yeah.
in time space, which catches the torsion spin of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Wow.
and
And
on up,
above
which is
and on.
string theory. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
So now we're being wired for multidimensional
We
consciousness.
are, and this is why I've been talking about all of this in my last few videos about all of the other dimensions and how we're accessing that, and you're from source, from God, and how all of these bits of information of inspiration that you're receiving. You were saying earlier about these past lives, that could it be from Atlantis, could it be from these other things? And these thoughts are there. Everything is accessible to us, but we have to raise our frequency and our vibration in order to access that. So essentially you're saying, in order to access the 5D info and above, or even healing, we need to raise our vibration. Is that correct? Is that what these
Yes.
are doing? Yeah. I
Yes.
love these. This is just, I wanted to show, what did you want to talk about next? Because there's so much to talk about, and I want
I
to
know.
show off my
Well,
tuning forks.
I wanted to share something out of my book, if you'd
Yes,
indulge me,
please.
just real
Please
quick.
do.
I mentioned Alice Bailey a while ago, so I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if your
want to know
listeners
about
are
her.
aware, but she was a great metaphysician and theosophist. And but one of her last speeches I quoted in my book, as she gave a prophecy for the turn of the century. And
Ooh.
this is what she says. And why I want to read this, this is my passion. This is my vision for working in this world of vibration. She says the response of the human mechanism to the world of sound will cause developments that will usher in a new age. By the way, she coined the term new age.
Yeah.
It will be an age in which the work of the world will be carried forward through the medium of sound, and eventually using words of power and the effects of trained sound workers. Now, here's the important part I want to share with you and your audience.
Yeah.
It says, understanding the nature of matter. That really means the quantum subatomic level that we're now understanding. Comprehending the purpose of sound will bring about, now I want you to get this, the structural changes and those material transformations which will establish a civilization of a new race.
Wow. A new
That doesn't get
race.
more powerful than that.
That's
And that's in the
amazing.
book.
When did she write that? When was that quote taken from? How long ago?
Okay, she was here from 1850 to about 19 something. So
she
over
was a
150
theosopher.
years
Was
ago.
she a theosopher,
Hmm.
into
Hmm.
theosophy? My daughter goes to a
Yeah,
Steiner school,
yeah,
actually. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
But
they
I
were.
love that quote.
I
That's my
know.
vision.
I love it. This new race is essentially who we're supposed to be. It's
Exactly.
the human being without limitation,
Mm,
accessing all that is, and accessing information, and meeting its ability to manifest things in a greater and quicker way. There
right.
was some concept that I wanted you to talk about with this survival, about how a lot of us are locked into the survival. That would be like a root chakra, very base, lower energy vibration, and this world has kept us in that rat race, that sort of like survival mechanism. And I got
Exactly.
a message from a lady yesterday saying, how can I focus on my ascension if all I'm doing is I'm just focusing on survival? How can I focus on my ascension? I told her to go out in nature, but also these tools are the reason why we're trying to give people something that's going to help them change the frequency around them and in their bodies, in order to, even if they're not there yet, say 9
Hmm.
months ahead, we're trying to get them to change the frequency in their bodies. So can you sort of elaborate on that? So it's like a limited energy, and these people who are stuck in survival mode can't really manifest
Mhm.
a better everything when they're
Yeah, I might have good news and not so good news, but let's try
okay.
it.
Tell.
Everybody wants to ascend, right?
Yeah.
But really, you're not an initiate for ascension until you've fully completed the descension
Ah.
or your incarnation.
Ah.
A lot of
Okay.
people are not even in their body when I work on them sometimes. They're
Wow.
not fully embraced their humanity. And this is what divine or spirit, whatever you want to call it, the purpose was to incarnate to fully experience the lower dimensions
Yeah.
that you and I give it. We give it that as human beings.
Mhm.
So here's where you have to do the work. The work is to find practitioners that do energy work that are intuitive and that
Yes.
can really clear out all of the old karmic imprints
Mm-hmm.
that you are carrying, because you cannot enter into the fifth dimension to work out old third dimensional issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to share this because this is powerful. And if this resonates with anybody out there, so be it. If it doesn't, put it on the shelf. I was told that I was in my last third dimensional incarnation, no more coming back in third dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that there is a critical group of souls, light workers, that also are finishing up their third dimension
Yep.
incarnations. Uh, the Bible talks about this
Yep.
144,000.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Well, think
And
about it. And there's people that take that literally. But
they
but
do.
here's the thing.
Mm.
But take it. 1 + 4 is 5, +4 is 9, which is completion.
Yes.
It is a frequency code saying that there will be enough people to complete
Yeah.
the 9, all incarnations in the third dimension, and they will develop a collective people
Mm-hmm.
that will discover their Merkaba
Yeah.
light body and ascend then into changing the new norm into in a fifth dimensional experience. And so Solfeggio frequencies are there to help us do this quickly,
Mm.
because JC, we live in urgent times.
We do.
We
And
live in
this is,
urgent times.
you're
This is the
speaking my
time.
language, David. You're speaking my language. I talk about this all the time. And not only that, as you know, I'm a psychic and I am picking up on the exact same information as you are saying,
Wonderful.
which is that there is a certain number of us who incarnated in here.
Mhm.
We're on our last round. I've been in here
Mhm.
more than 20,000 years, by the way. I just
All
found
right.
out
All
today.
right.
I've
I
worked
hear
it
you.
out. I've been clearing stuff in my dreams, my past life stuff. I've been clearing 6,000-year ancestral trauma in my body.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
it's happening rapidly. And these
Hmm.
tools are the things that's triggering this. Okay. And this is why I keep saying to everyone, go within, but also we're giving them these tools and these practitioners so they can clear all of this. But this stuff about the 144,000, even the Indigenous peoples of Australia, in their prophecy, spoke about the 144,000.
Is that the Aborigines?
And they
Hmm.
had this
Sure.
prophecy around Uluru, which is this rock,
Hmm.
which we believe is the heart of Gaia or heart of the earth.
Yes.
And on the 21st of December 2020, whatever, are we in 2021 now? Yes, 2020. 21st of December, they did ceremonies there to sort of put the energies back into Mother Earth, and they
Wonderful.
needed 144,000 people to focus their love and their intention and their light into the earth so that we could fix this planet, right? But
Hmm.
I intuited that it was 144,000 clusters of
Yes.
people
Yes.
all over, these light workers. And it was like I saw it in my head, like people, it was like lighting up, all these things lighting up. And that's
That's
what it is.
beautiful.
It's us coming in and coming into our light bodies, and everything's light.
Yeah.
David, you said your background was in, so you had a ministry. Did you ever, and there was a lot of healing, did you ever hear people speaking in tongues?
That's the religion I was raised in.
Was it Pentecostal or?
Pentecostal. My
So,
my
yeah.
aunt was my pastor, which is
Oh,
amazing
wow.
to have a woman pastor in
Mm,
that
in that
religion in the
time.
50s.
Yeah.
So she was a great model for me of strength and power. to go into the ministry. At 17, I started full-time
Wow,
ministry.
that's amazing. Well, what
Mhm.
we're noticing in a lot of us who are light workers, and this happened to me only the other day, just got activated because we start activating these things in us. It unlocks, I don't know if it unlocks DNA or memories or whatever in us, and even our voices. People say to me, JC, your voice, I listen to you and it unlocks this information in me. And this is why I wanted to be able to hear you properly, because your voice also inspires and unlocks information for people
Good,
that is
good.
latent. But there is something that, I mean, they call it new age, but I don't think it is. It's called light language. And essentially it's like
Yes.
speaking in tongues. I've been doing this now. It's
I'm
coming
so
through.
glad.
It's been coming through me. And this morning, I had a dear friend, her daughter, her 16-year-old daughter, fainted this morning and hit her head and was knocked out, and she had to be rushed to hospital. And she rang me crying and screaming and going, I'm going to take my daughter to hospital. She's been hit in the head. Please pray for her. And I said, okay. And I hung up and I thought, time doesn't exist. She's healed.
There you go.
I'm going to send her healing. She's already better. And as I said that, I focused in on her daughter, and I just started singing light language. It just started coming out, and I was doing these actions. I was completely in this zone, and I was doing hand gestures. And then just before this, I had used the tuning fork. I had used the crystal one,
Mm-hmm.
okay, around me, and the crystal tuning fork, which is it 4096? Is that
Yes,
that's the
it's
frequency? It's very, very high
4,096.
frequency. And I used this to clear before I did that. And then I saw gold light around her daughter. I just saw it in my mind's eye. And I saw, I don't know if they were angelic beings, but they looked gold, all of them. And they just had surrounded her in healing. And I was just singing these words. It was a language. And I sat, and afterwards I went, I wonder if that's got to do with the frequencies. I didn't know what I was saying. And now we heard in the afternoon, her daughter was given the all clear. She's fine.
Great.
She got
Wonderful.
out of hospital and everything was okay. And that's what I wanted to ask you about, is that this is happening more and more for a lot of the people.
Well, you don't know how excited I am to find somebody that understands how spirit speaks in its purity in a way that ego can't understand it.
You
That's how
can't
you get
even
through the defense
change.
mechanisms.
I
Yeah.
was like trying to change what I was saying and I couldn't. Like it actually was coming out like a language, and
Yes.
I was repeating it. It was an actual language. It wasn't like gobbledygook. I was actually repeating some of the lines
Yes.
like it was a language. And I wrote down some of the sounds. And I started writing a language. I went out in the sun today and I started writing this language, and it's like a light language. So I interpret it as that this energy of spirit is already there, that once you get to a certain frequency, it kind of unlocks this ability in you. And that what you're doing is you're translating an energy with our vocal cords. Is that correct? That's
That is totally 100%
yeah.
correct. Yes, absolutely. We are here to interpret the innate inner teacher of every person. This is why I do not teach our practitioners to really, I suggest, not to really label themselves a healer, because we're not really the healer. We're facilitating
Facilitating. Mhm.
self-healing by being used to facilitate that environment. It's not about what we can do for you, but what can we undo for you?
Yeah, all you're doing is you're a conduit. Is that right?
You're a
You're,
conduit. That's a
you're a conduit
facilitator. That's right.
facilitator. You've
Um,
got three. I've got three of your courses here. Is there more than
okay.
three?
Well, there's three major ones, and
Three
then there's
major
some
ones.
other
Okay.
other
So there's a
classes.
self-study. I wanted to tell people about these because
Okay.
every day I see comments I speak to, and I get emails from those who already work in the medical industry and they're very disillusioned by it. And we had Mark and I did a live the other day, and we invited just the audience people to come on and talk. And we met a man named Tony from Tennessee. So hi, Tony, if you're watching. And he was a paramedic. And I said to him, I get a sense that you and your wife want to change your careers. I think you should do this course. He said, I've already done the course.
Is that right?
Yes, they already had that going. They already started. So he said, yeah.
Wow.
And his voice, this man had the most beautiful voice, and you could tell he was the most caring paramedic. And you know, he's in an industry that's kind of very locked down, but he's being the facilitator of healing for these people. And just his voice and his bedside manner was so
wonderful,
soothing. And you know, and so that just, it reminded me of the whole concept of this sound healing thing. And so that's why I wanted everyone to have a look at your website, and I've got a link that I'm going to share. Because you've got these courses. So you've got the self-study one, which is great to help for ourselves and our family. We've got, let's have a look, self-study course. You've got phase 1 and phase 2. But then there's this final one, which I wanted to ask you about, that I've got here, which is a phase vibrational sound coach training. Is that one? This is the DNA ancestral energy release technique. That's very powerful. That's going to be really important.
That's ancestral work with our DNA, RNA forks. And also we've attached archangels. Every time we would use one of the letters of the DNA, the A, T, C, G,
yes, I've got it here.
A different presence would show up with this naturopathic doctor who was not even into this kind of thing of angels, but had finally asked, and it started to identify itself as Gabriel and Raphael. Wow. And so there's a, and these are here to help us right now.
Yeah.
To get through this kind
of thing. They
are.
We've got, let's say, higher dimensional help coming from.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Us get up and evolve into the next. So you've got Uracil. Is that so I've got different ones in this. I didn't understand. I didn't get a chance to read up on these particular forks. This was the one that says phenine and Uracil. Are these the ones that bring in the archangels?
Those are your DNA. RNA forks right there.
That's right.
You have.
Yeah.
Plus a pineal gland.
Yes, and the pineal gland. So the ones I use the most is the crystal one, which is the very high frequency one that clears negativity and clears energies. Do you know, I take that in my purse. And so when I'm out in 3D land, I just do that really quickly.
That's great. A lot of people do that.
And then when I get back in the car, do it again, because I've had a really bad run-in with someone that was very draining. And then
that fork also clears a lot of negative energy and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a
good cleansing. This afternoon when I came back from being outside it's a very busy period. It's a long weekend here, so it was very busy out there. I laid on the bed and I just used my intuition, and I was told which ones to use first. And I let it hang over my body as I was lying down, and I let the fork sort of do its thing. And I could feel where it needed to go. And there was a particular one. Oh, that's right. I think it was this one. I had to do it over my eyes for some reason. And then today, just before I was about to record a video, just before this one, which was very heavy information, I was guided to use the Om one. And that's grounding. That's grounding, right? But I was told to sort of put it near my chest, near my thymus gland. Is that
thymus, absolutely.
And that was so deep. If I was to, let me see if I can.
Oh yeah, I did hear it. I don't know.
Yeah. It comes and goes. There we go.
See, I use mine every day on the thyroid, parathyroid, and thymus, and that activates them every day and just says, "Wake up and work at your optimum level. Don't be sluggish."
Because
So
that's going to be like when they're sluggish, that completely deteriorates our body, correct? So these are the things that are going to
yeah,
help us stay alive
yeah.
and activated. And then the big one, the most popular one, apart from the pineal gland, is the 520. I was telling you off air that I was doing some work and I started to ding it and wave it around, and then I heard in my head thymus, and I went, "Oh, okay."
Perfect, perfect.
So I knew where to do that. So that's the 528 hertz, which a lot of people know already is the miracle. It's a DNA. It's a DNA activator repair, DNA repair, and it helps with. We can do it over our water and our food, and changes
Yes,
the
it charges six-sided water molecules and charges them with energy. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are some of the most popular, I know. The crystal one, the pineal gland, the 528 hertz,
Yeah.
the one. They seem to be the most popular and the ones that most people are drawn to. But you've got so many sets.
Yeah. If I could just mention the three main
Yes, please do.
classes. Phase one is called the energy vitality technique. And that is where I teach people who want to be practitioners how to connect that person's individual energy to the infinite energy field by activating at the coccyx. Three specific solfeggio forks crossing each other builds more energy until it catches the torsion spin.
Wow.
And then we connect all that energy. Now, let me give you a simple example in this. Let's say for some reason you were very moved by my work and you said, you know, by faith, I don't have it, but I'm going to write you a $10,000 check to support your work. And, but you don't have $10,000 in the bank. So when I go put the check in, it says insufficient fund.
Yeah.
That means that's why you don't heal, why you don't manifest.
Right.
But let's say something changes and you win the lottery or you get an inheritance and all this money is there. You write the check and it goes through. So we cannot heal and manifest until we are connected to energy we're not using every day for the autonomic system to just live.
Yeah.
See? So I tell these people, I'm going to march you down to the World Bank. We're going to make a withdrawal of money, go put it in your account, and then we can write checks and they go through and manifest.
Yeah.
So the solfeggio, the second one is a combination of working with the energy and also body tuners. So then we start introducing acupuncture points, and all that kind of thing. And then the third phase is for the DNA, RNA practitioners who really want to work with ancestry type things. And of course, I want to say SomaEnergetics is not alternative, it's integrative.
Yeah.
We believe that putting tuning forks into anything you do will enhance it and will open the system up more for deeper, quicker results than you've ever had before.
Fantastic.
So we're looking for light workers and practitioners to step up right now. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. We are in a time that a portal is opened and frequency, sound, and color
I literally did a video on this.
That's what's going to happen. And that's why we have to say to any of your people out there who might in any way want to get our products, because of this tremendous awakening that's going on toward all of this, that we are overwhelmed.
I know.
We are overwhelmed and we're trying to get people to do tuning forks and we can't keep up with it. So please, if you do, be patient with us. It's coming. It's coming as soon as we can. But it'll be worth the wait for you. I promise you that.
It will be. Listen, you use it every day. It's such a simple thing. You know, Mark has this ear for, he just knows where to find, because him and I have the same attitude. It's like, we've got to find the practitioners. We've got this platform. Let's find the tools and show people. And we're not telling people go and buy everything. We're just saying, look at this. This is going to help you. This is going to help you. This is going to help you. And I have to say, is the tuning forks and the pyramid are the two things that, and they both work with frequency. They both work with enhancing the frequency. These are the things that have made a massive shift for me to unlock
Yes.
more and more information so that I can help myself heal and be more centered and grounded and all of those things to help more people. That's giving me more access to the universal energy. That's essentially what it's doing. Is that what it's correct?
That's beautiful. Absolutely. How wonderful that
Yeah.
you're able to touch all these lives and souls and that's out there
Vibration.
saying, what is next for me?
Mm-hmm.
Because people are getting ready to shift
They are
from everything they've ever known into new patterns of new systems. And
beautiful.
we're not here by accident. We are here because we said yes and made a
Mm-hmm.
contract to be here.
I
So the
know I
SOLFEGGIO is
did.
going to really help you.
I'm going to retire soon. my
I said,
my higher
I
self
said
went,
that.
I said, I'm done now. Come on,
Uh-huh.
20,000 years, I'm out of here. Come on. This isn't
Yeah,
a work. You said, this is why I'm public. I get to help a whole bunch of people in one hit and clear a whole heap of karma. Get out of here.
I think that's the greater works when it said you shall do the works I did, and even
Yeah.
greater.
Yeah.
I think because of technology and our ability
Yes.
to be in the same space and time, that is amazing. How that we can use that for the planet.
I know, this is amazing. And we're all going to touch so many people with this. Is there more that you want to touch on? Is there more that you want to touch on, David? Because I just love listening to you and hearing your story and knowing more about what you did. Um, anything else you want to say about the course?
Oh, I can always say something,
Yes, you
but
can. Please, I love
the
that. I
main
love
thing I
listening.
want to say to people is SomaEnergetics is not out there marketing itself to everyone.
Hmm.
We believe there is a certain order of beings that will resonate with this particular information and these techniques. And that is what we're looking for, those that feel the pull in their heart. And if you do, I really encourage you to get on our website. There's a lot of wonderful information for you to read and then contemplate it. Don't react to it, right or wrong, good or bad. Contemplate it neutral and see if it awakens your own innate intelligence. And when that happens, we're going to start coming together in such a way that it is going to make such a major shift of our planet.
Absolutely. I just love all of your products, and I've got a chance to look at every single. I've got a couple of kits here, and I'm just so grateful that you developed these. And so you've been interviewed by Mark Atwood, and I think his interview had more of your story, and we got to speak more about the healing and the courses that you have and the actual the different tools that you've got to help people. I want to wrap it up, but I don't want to wrap it up because I want to keep talking to you. But please tell us, is there anything else you wanted to say? And then we can sum it up.
No, I just want to thank you for having me. It's been fun. I think you're a frequency match. Let's put it that way.
We are.
I, I think we're on the same level here, and I think that's great.
I was reading a book and I was going, like everything I'm saying. So thank you so much. And guys, everyone who's watching this video, please look for the link. I will send out an email to all the people on my newsletter so they can see the link. There will be a link in the description below and also in the pinned comment, and it's a specific link because they need to know that I sent you to them so that they could, because they know that there's going to be a huge volume of people coming through a certain link. And then be patient. If there's some tuning forks that are more popular than others, some may be on back order. So just be patient with that, but have a really good look at the website, because you can always go back to it and get more. And I would recommend the kits, and I would recommend getting the courses, because I think that this is the wave of the future, and you'll have this arsenal, this complementary technique and modality that you can use to enhance either an existing form of healing or to start to use on your own family to amplify their healing.
Right.
Just don't forget that, this is changing frequency. It's changing our auric field to create this new body. You don't need to make
JC, I just feel we should mention the personal kit. There is
Yes.
something called a personal kit, which has an ohm tuner, the 528, a crystal, and some SOLFEGGIO meditation. But it's a good place to start for somebody that just wants to put their
Oh.
toe in the water and
So-
kind of test it and see. And it's yeah,
Got
this
that?
is
So it's
so
got
you
the
get all that.
SOLFEGGIO.
And
So
the
it's-
crystal tuner, the
so I've got the
528,
crystal
and the
tuner
ohm.
is this one. 528 is this one, and then the ohm, sorry, not the pineal gland, the ohm one. So this is a personal kit, and I
Yes.
would, and I have more than that, but these were instinctively, these were the ones I was drawn to. So this is why you've done this. And then you've got the SOLFEGGIO tones, which is amazing. And you talk about this in the book at length. And that's why I love the book as well. So that book is really, really, and I think it's available on audio book as well, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's a fork in the road, and that's worth it because this explains all the stuff I've been talking about, but in a proper scientific way. Because David's done he's just kept asking the questions for decades, and it all came to him. All of this information came to him. So I want to thank you, David, and I want to thank Tim, who also helped from SomaEnergetics. And thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
It's been
for
a
sharing this.
pleasure.
You are like the work that you've done for humanity, just with what you've developed is amazing. So thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you.
And
You have a
tingles on my head.
great rest of the night. You're at night.
It's midnight now.
I'm going to have breakfast.
It's midnight. See, time doesn't exist. We've somehow
All relative in it.
it's all relative. Okay. Thank you, David.
Thank you.